Deadspeak here with Deadspeak Gaming, bringing you a video on Marvel Spider-Man. So, this is the first look of his apartment. You know, we see pictures of May and Uncle Ben and Mary Jane and Harry and stuff like that. A police scanner, a dead plant. So we can tell that at this point in Peter's life, that he hasn't quite managed the balance of being Peter Parker and Spider-Man. And you know it does show, that he hasn't quite balanced that. Not long into the game, you do get a call from Dr. Octavius, and when that happens, we do see the start of his kind of okay. And yes, we just seen the memorial thing for Uncle Ben. We see some of the stuff from the Daily Bugle about some of the villains that he has taken down. We see he has taken down the Scorpion, the Rhino, and the Vulture, and this is the first part of it. He is about to be taking down William Fisk. We see that he has integrated a lot of technology into his mask. He can get. I mean, yes, we see that does happen, and he kind of makes a choice here. You see he's looking at his phone or looking at the bill, and he ultimately decides, you know what, hey, my bill can kind of wait, I've got to do this. So it does give you quite a bit of tutorials, saying, hey, this is how you do this, and this is how you do that. So you do follow this helicopter for a bit, and you are about to go into Times Square to fight some of Kingpin or Wilson Fisk's guards. This is the first time you hear Yuri, and she's a police detective. So yeah. So like I said, the combat reminds me of the Batman Arkham games, because it is kind of a free-flowing combat system. It is kind of simplistic like that. Square is your attack, triangle is your web swings. You can also grab by hitting L1 and R1 things with your webs to swing. You can shoot them with your webs to web them up, beat them up a little bit quicker. Your circle is your dodge, X is your jump. You can knock them up into the air, and he will jump up and do some aerial combat as well, which is about to be seen. We see, the Fisk guys are just like, yeah, whatever, we don't, no regard, just straight up moving forward shooting. They are
bringing the hammer.
About to bring in a transfer truck to kind of take down this barrier of police cars, but ultimately, it doesn't really matter because Spider-Man's like right there to take them all down. So one thing about this game is there is a lot of there's not a lot, but you can unlock suits, and you can change them in game at any time you want. So some of the suits you can unlock pretty early in the game is going to be the suit that is shown on the cover, the White Spider, the battle damage suit, the suit, the classic suit that we are using now. Yes, and I was hitting the wrong buttons to figure out how to throw things. At that point. But Spider-Man Noir, the Scarlet Spider, and you can get the Homecoming suit, but you have to collect all of the backpacks in the game, and which isn't too much. I mean, there's only 55 in the game. So you know it's not that difficult to do. You hit R3 and it'll allow you to scan the environment much like you could in the Batman Arkham games.
Almost done here.
I would say that the only difference between this game and you know in the Batman Arkham games is, you know, licensing, because, you know, they remind me of being very reminiscent of each other. You know, at this point he sees the explosion at Fisk Towers. He's like, okay, yeah, I gotta go. You can actually wall run, which is nice. Yes, you can unlock through upgrading aerial tricks. I haven't done that yet. And what the aerial tricks will allow you to do is build your focus meter that allows you to do takedown or finishers, as they call them here. So yeah, we see that Fisk has a lot of guys. Spider-Man stops to talk to Yuri. That's her. You know, and then she's like, yeah, whatever. You know, you kind of need to do this by the book, but, you know, you kind of got to. Spider-Man just kind of has to go in anyway. You know, we see him webbing a lot of people. And, yeah. So this is the second fight. It is in Fisk's lobby, the Fisk Tower lobby. You know, like I said, at the beginning of the game they do show you a lot of tutorials. You know, you can hold square and you'll uppercut them into the air to you know, start the aerial combat. So there are 3 skill trees. There is the web swinger skill tree, which, you know, typically has stuff to do with webs. The health, how you can regain health, is actually interesting, because when you build your focus meter, you can hit down, and what that'll do is it'll actually heal you so many points based on how much focus meter you actually have. Yeah, see it. Yeah, see, it shows you there. You hit it when you're full. You gain about 30 to 40 health points. So it is. It does come in handy. It is interesting at that. It is interesting the way they do that. Yeah. So some of the tutorials and stuff, it's just like, oh yeah, tap this to do this. Whatever. But yes, you can also, like I said, you have essentially a predator tree, much like the Batman Arkham games. That gives you well, I mean, I don't want to say predator tree, because it's not just a predator tree, because it does give you stuff for your regular combat as well, I do believe.
I prefer a more direct approach.
I really haven't looked into a lot of stuff. And then you have the defender, which typically grants you, you know, dodging skills and stuff like that. And then, as I was saying, you know, you do have the web slinger skill.
choppers are taking fire. Looks like
Yes,
Fisk
and you
has
can
armed men
wall
on every
run up a
floor.
wall like that
He's
by
desperate.
holding
And he's
R2,
hitting us with
which is
everything he's
nice
got.
for getting up
Find him and
buildings.
pin this.
You can
Not
also
yet. We just
parkour
picked up chatter.
by
There's
holding
one
it
thing
down
all
and
their
just
data servers.
moving
We
the
need that evidence
left
if we wanna
stick.
put him away for good.
But
Okay,
overall,
server room it is.
this little first mission I think gives
Call
you
from
a
May.
pretty
Better
good
answer.
taste of what to
Hiya, May.
expect
What is
in
all
the
that
game,
noise?
Watching a
minusing
superhero
out
movie.
a
What's
lot
up?
of the free
I just
roam
wanted to make
elements.
sure we're still on
Next floor up.
Um,
Listen, I gotta go.
Well, okay.
yeah. So we see
Love you
that the way that this is working. The cops are basically storming the building. You have Fisk guy shooting at them. Hey, I don't know why that just happened like that, because we see the guy standing up, getting ready to fight, and then just kind of kills over. It happens sometimes,
Hold him so he can't
But
jump
yeah.
around.
How
Let's
exactly
see,
do you think this
yes.
ends
So
well?
like I said, you do have your finishers. They are varying degrees as well, because I have seen one
You're gonna have a bad
while playing and doing little crime missions and stuff, to where it's like he webs their mouth
On to the next one.
and like flips over them, and it is cool. So there are multiple finishers into the game. The dodging system is actually one of the better ones that I've seen. So yeah, so I did get kind of confused at this point as to where I was supposed to go, which does happen at times. Yes, and like I said,
If I go in this way,
it
we'll
is
destroy all
what it
the
is. So
evidence.
we do have to go into the server
I should look for a
room.
sneaky
Like I
way
said,
in.
there's the kind of detective mode, or reminiscent of detective mode from the Batman
we go.
game. But you know what? Hey, it is what it is. So yeah, so I did lose kind of where the vent was, because it can be hard to see some of the things.
It's like my own private ventrance.
Yeah, I thought I could go that way, which
This
is
may be
kind
a
of
dirty
disappointing
criminal, but
that
he has remarkably clean air vents.
in this part in particular, the vents are kind of linear. But this actually reminds me of the old
You're so
school
cute when they're oblivious.
Spider-Man game on the PlayStation, because there was times to where you did have to crawl in the vents in the building. So at this point, you do have like a minute to take down everybody
Hold him back.
that you have to take down.
Colin, the system's still purging.
I thought the IT guy did my last job.
And I do believe I am about to heal. Yeah. Because I kind of need to, or maybe not. But as I was saying,
Before everything's gone.
this part of the
how good their
game
security
is to me is
guys
very
forgot the latest
reminiscent
kernel
of
patch.
the original, or not the original Spider-Man game, but the Spider-Man game that a lot of people do remember,
Says the guy
for
frantically
that
erasing his
wasn't
search
just a
history.
beat 'em up, and that did have kind of a free roaming aspect
but
to
that's
it,
part of my
which
charm,
was
isn't
the Spider-Man on the PlayStation. So, with that being said, seemingly now, well, not seemingly, but most Spider-Man games now do have the free roam aspect. It's pretty much that they cannot make a Spider-Man
Well, there was
game
that time I took down a pompous,
without the
overstuffed
free
crime lord
roam
before
aspect to it.
Without me, the skill
Which does make sense, because that's kind of the feel of a Spider-Man
A
game.
long, tough road.
Is you're
Almost sad to see it end.
I'm just gonna like swing around New York. I mean,
ready for the
yes, and
main
they
event.
actually I put a lot of stuff in this. So to get upgrades for your suits, suits. So to upgrade your suits and even unlock suits, you will need tokens. So these tokens are there's like 6 different tokens. Some of them I don't know what they are,
Yuri, an explosion just.
because
Fisk could have the
you know,
whole
again, I
place
haven't
wired.
made it that
I'm
far in
sitting
the
in a
game,
bomb
but
unit.
you can get
We'll make sure no one gets in their
landmarks,
way.
research, crime tokens, which are for stopping crime. You know, on the map when
Got more where that came from.
you get to that part, which is like right after this mission. So at this mission, you do this and you go to Octavius's
That's all
lab
of them.
to, you know, do some little minor stuff. And then
It's clear.
and then after that, you do get
Hey, guys.
a
I guess bombs are part of Willie's getaway plan?
you do get to free roam.
Sounds like they're trapped.
You go after them. We'll look for the
And
bombs.
you know, when that does happen, so like at the first part in the free roam map part, you do have to, you know, unlock some powers because you are in Chinatown, but you know, kind of is what it is. Yeah, and apparently I thought they were enemies.
We need a way out.
But like I said, you do get crime tokens for stopping crimes, and hideout tokens for taking down a hideout. And the hideouts kind of work like the Predator maps from the Batman game. Now, but unlike the Batman game, you can take some of the guys out stealthily. Other guys, you know, you do have
I'll
to
lift it. When you're free, get out
just
fast.
like
You
jump
walk,
down, beat
help
them
you.
up
Got it?
because they are in an area. So you know, you kind of do have some QTs, but they're not that bad. Or, you know, there's you know, crimes will range from assaults to kidnappings to
Okay, Willie. Coming
taking
your way.
out, or not taking out, but
Spider-Man, it's Yuri.
How we doing, Captain?
Could be better. Our choppers took a beating. We just had
but
to ground our last
the
one.
crimes
If
that you
Fisk
can
calls in a
stop
chopper, we
are
have no
like
one to stop it
assaults,
from landing.
kidnappings,
And no one to chase him if he flies away.
carjackings, stuff like that.
Why
I
do I
mean,
get
you know,
the feeling that's what he
typical
was planning all
stuff
along?
that happens in New
Guess he
York.
probably was.
So that's not too bad.
Damn.
They're optional. You don't have to do them,
We're trying.
but by doing them, they allow you to
Incoming!
unlock suits, upgrade suits, stuff like that. You know, so they are beneficial to do. It's not set up the way the Ultimate Spider-Man was, or yes, Ultimate Spider-Man on the Xbox, in which you had to do these. You had to stop like so many crimes to advance in the game and all of that, which is good. So I mean, yeah, so you can just go from mission to mission to mission to mission. You know, you do level up, like in a lot of other games. Yeah, so at this, yeah, so I did, yeah. So at certain parts, you know, you do have to do stuff like that. Yes, and this is the parkour that I was talking about. You know, while it's not Assassin's Creed level, but you know what? Hey, it's still fun. Yeah. So at this point, yeah. So there's actually a lot of. Yeah. So what I was saying about the you know, how you don't have to stop crimes. I think you had to in Web of Shadows as well. I could be mistaken, as it has been many years since I have played that game. But, you know, I think making the games where, like, it's like, oh yeah, you have to stop so many crimes before you can advance. You have to do,
We were just about to call
you know,
for backup.
this, or you have to
think I'm
do
in.
that.
Lead the way. We'll be right
That
behind
can
you.
be
Heads up, boss.
kind of like, oh, you know, it can get kind of repetitive and kind of annoying. So, you know, yes, at that point, those guys are working for Fisk. Obviously, you know, these shields work to where, you know, you do have to get behind them,
I'll never get that image out of my head.
to actually damage him, which does make sense.
So your plan didn't work.
People on here
On to
do
plan
have
B,
melee
getting
weapons.
kicked in the
They
face.
it doesn't happen at this part, but one of the crimes you do stop in the little next mission thing. They do. They can block attacks. They can, you know, damage you heavily, stuff like that. You know, and you pretty much have to web the guy up and then lay the smackdown on him, so to speak. Yeah, and he kind of glitched and gets stuck in a crate
Hey, Yuri.
or
You
a
guys want
concrete
this payroll.
slab
Good
thing.
news is you were Willie's
So
last
yeah,
line of defense.
as always,
Come right
fun.
outside his office.
But
Down. Now.
you know, yes. At this point, we are about to take on Fisk. I do die at a couple points in this fight, mainly due to my own stupidity and not realizing where he was, because he acts similarly to Bane.
Writing your memoirs?
Is
Don't forget the
is a
hyphen
pretty
between
good
Spider and
comparison,
Man.
because you know you do kind of have to web him up to fight him,
Surprised you made it this
and
far.
then you come in, you beat
For
him
your
down a little bit.
foolishness
He'll do a
now.
charge, he'll do like a back fist to try and knock you away. Rinse,
You know I
repeat.
can still see you,
And then
right?
after 2 or 3 times in his little office, he does the same thing again outside, but he
Oh,
does
for
have a
me?
couple
You shouldn't
minions.
have.
So this part is a little bit easy, so all you have to do is jam up the guns with your web. Yeah, I didn't actually realize that at first. So yeah, you have to gum them up, and then after you shoot them and gum them up like that, you do have to rip them off the wall, which I didn't realize at first.
Now's my chance.
Yeah, and then you rip them off.
Gotta web the gun.
And yes, this is so I didn't actually notice that at first, but he did throw the first one
What's wrong,
into
Willie? You
the
seem
glass
angry.
case. Throws the second one into the glass case, and this is when the fight starts. Now, what's interesting here is that he doesn't have a health bar, so there are kind of multiple ways to defeat him.
Give me an opening.
So you can web him up like that, and do that, or you can take items that you can throw. Yes, and I did hit the wrong button there. You can take items that you can throw to do the same, to have the same effect. It'll stun him, you know, kind of be stunned, and then you know what? Yeah, you just kind of grab and rinse and repeat. Yeah, there's that charge I was talking about.
That gave me an opening.
Yeah, so it says, yeah, he will block melee attacks. He is actually pretty strong. Yeah, and you know, you get the prompt saying, you know, hey, webs and throwable objects are can weaken him. You do have instances like this.
You're losing, Willie.
I haven't even started crying.
Now, yes, now we are about to into a point to where we do get a small little cutscene thing at this point. And yeah, he just smacked us through a wall. Yeah. We are back out in the lobby, and this is when he brings out some
Everything that's
minions.
wrong with this city.
So I found it to be a little bit easier to take out the minions first in this boss fight, and then focus on him. So there's a total of like 5 to 6 minions that do come out. There's 4 right there, I believe. 2 more do come in. I could be wrong, and like I said, you do have to worry about Fisk at the point.
I don't want excuses.
which is kind of annoying,
You're out of your depth, boy.
you know. But you know what? Hey, you know, for the first boss of the game, he's actually not that hard, and you know, as long as you do pay attention to your surroundings, it's not going to be that difficult. I unfortunately did not at that point, or this one coming up. But you know what? Hey, it happens sometimes. You know.
Tired of you. So am I.
And when I finally do, at this point I do die yet again. But once I do respawn, or once I do get back into the fight again, I'm actually able to take out the minions first, and without really losing any health. And then I do focus in on Fisk, and it is the same web. You know, just beat up, web, beat up, dodge back, web, and beat up. See, at that point, when I was focusing in on him, I should have just went ahead, kind of webbed him up, went to the minion, come back, because at that point, I probably would have been able to beat it. Like I said, there's only like 5 to 6 minions that do come out. Or there might be a little bit more. I'm uncertain. But I do believe at this junction, I do win. Yeah. So an interesting side note here is when you are in some of these fights and you do have an enemy webbed up, you can kick them into a wall, and you'll take them out. Or if they are on the floor, you can web them, and they will get stuck to the floor, and they will be out at that point. So that is one interesting note, is that there are multiple ways to take out some of these enemies. Yeah, so all the minions are down at this point. We're just gonna dodge back. Yeah, so you do have. Oh, I did die. Yeah, so when you do have to web him up, you have to web him up to a point to where his arms are together and he starts to kind of look like a worm, flailing in the wind. To finish him off. Now, like I said, you know, the combat is pretty fluid, and it does remind me of the Batman Arkham games. You know, with the exception of the acrobatic stuff. Now, you do have brute enemies in this game as well, and they do act similarly to the way Kingpin does. You do have to web them up, but unlike Kingpin in this fight at least, you can actually web them up and knock them into a wall, and they will be webbed up to the wall. And so yes, so after this, we do get a cutscene. After this fight, we do get a cutscene. Well, yeah, of them falling through the building. Which is cool. Like I said, when you get into that point, yeah, here it is. So when you get into that point, yeah, so like I said, you do have some QTEs, slight QTEs, and what is surprising is, in most aspects of the Kingpin when he does appear. You know, it is, you know, he doesn't really fight. This and Daredevil Season 1 are probably about the only two examples I can think of that he does. Yes, and he does get arrested. You know, and he does come out. You know, you see there's little details like that. His suit's beat up and torn. You know,
Finally off to Rikers,
we
huh?
do see
You know, I think
that
you've got more enemies in there than I
Spider-Man's
do.
suit as well is torn. So you do have,
Whoop, gotta
while
go. Hey, good luck,
it's
Willie. I
while
have a feeling
seemingly
you're
it's
gonna
not
need it.
something that is going to be effective of Spider-Man's other suits, because I mean, yes, that was something that you did, you know, yes, his
Kingpin
suit
is
getting
heading to
torn
prison.
like that
End of an
is a
era.
part of
I should
his
celebrate. Maybe take a vacation.
is a part of the story. So I'm actually unsure if it is something that does happen in some of the other suits. But this brings us to the end of part 1 of this brief little playthrough, because I don't actually have the game. So remember to like, comment, and subscribe if you are new and you do enjoy the content. Until next time, Dead Speak out.